Gonna be doing a gas valve, main gas valve install on a Richmond water heater, which is manufactured by Rheem. This is a 50-gallon unit. It uses natural gas. Is manufactured March 11th of 2020. So this unit is actually less than a year old. I have my thermocoupler line here. I have my main gas line here, which feeds the pan. And I have my pilot light line here. This is my piezoelectric line. This is what actually ignites the pilot light. Before you do this, you need to know when you take this valve out, part of it actually does sit in the water tank. So water will come out unless you drain the tank completely. A way to help keep from getting so much water is to actually shut off both the valves to the tank and manually open up your pressure relief valve right here. What that does is that actually creates a vacuum inside of the tank and will help keep some of the water inside of it. So for time's sake, you see I already have all this busted loose. My gas line's actually out. My sediment trap is undone, which I used to bust this loose. This is already loose. So make sure you keep this little rubber clear piece on the ends of these. That is meant to be on there. Do not take that off. So let's go on ahead and get this dude ready. And you see I have all this taped up so no water gets in there. Alright, we're going to go on ahead and take her off. You need to kind of be quick about this, but make sure you're not, jamming everything to where you break stuff. Okay, so that's on there. So you see how much water comes out, and this tank has a vacuum on it. So you can imagine what it would be like without that. So you want to tighten this dude up. Make sure you're not stripping the threads or nothing. Make sure before you call it good, all your lines will line up. Leave your plug in here until you're ready to install too, by the way, just for cleanliness sakes. So something different about this piezoelectric connection. The original one had flat connectors. This one has a round connector, so I used a butt. And it just plugs in like so. So that's how that works if you go to replace a valve and it's different. So now that we have that done, I'm going to go on ahead, put my main valve back on. Now, I do have the actual valve up top is shut off. Now before I do that, you better put some thread tape on there. Now I'm using tape that is built specifically for natural gas. Natural gas will eat. Yes, it will eat away at your normal tape you'd use for water lines. So I've got enough tape to do about 3 wraps, which is all you really need. Might have got a bit more, it'll be alright. Oops. So some people say you don't have to use, pipe thread sealant. I use it just for the reason it's an extra added peace of mind, and it kind of helps act as a lubrication for the threads. So, if it's not actually sealing, it's at least helping keep the tape from tearing, which is basically what keeps you alive. So your gas don't leak. Check your connections, make sure they're clean. Put that on there. Let's get it started. Now typically when it comes to water, gas, anything like that, a good adjustable wrench about do almost everything you want. So get that on there tight. I had to steal an adjustable out of my wife's tool bag today. Pretty sure she's yanked on to all mine. Seems to be pretty common around here. So now that we've got that tight, we'll go about hooking everything else up. Make sure any glue off the tape is gone, not around. That'll keep you from making the proper connection you want. So we're gonna put the thermocoupler in. when you do this, make sure you don't have bends in your line that are too serious. Also make sure that is tight. Tighten it hand tight about as much as you can. And I wouldn't tighten it with a wrench any more than a half a turn, to be honest with you, unless you just can't, you know, get it on there completely all the way how you want it. I'm going ahead and remove this plug, but before I install the main line, I'm going to actually tighten this up for the thermocoupler. Now, I just said don't tighten this more than a half turn. Well, I'm going to, because I can tell that it finger tight was not going to get it where I wanted. So there's probably almost, there's a full turn. So now we're going to install the main gas line. Make sure you wipe this off so there ain't no water. Sometimes this can be absolutely no fun. Oh. Just like so. Oh my Lord, there we go. So once you get it started and up in there a couple threads, oh. So once you get it started and a couple threads up in there, go on ahead and take your wrench and finish the job. Now remember, you're not tightening down a 1977 K20 U-bolt for your rear axle. So don't strain yourself here, because if you do, you're probably gonna mess this valve up and then you just got a whole nother mess. I will say, to right the wrong, Ream sent me this valve for free. It's an upgraded valve for this tank actually. Plus they paid for overnight shipping. It took less than 24 hours for this piece to get here. I don't owe them a dime. So in my book, that makes up for the valve going out less than a year from the manufacture date. So I mean, they've got good customer service, I will say. So same with this. Just tighten it up. A couple threads on there. Now you're not going to be putting tape on these at all. These don't require it. These don't require any kind of pipe dope or any compound. They just thread in and they seal up themselves. So keep that in mind. So once we get this tightened up here, we'll open up that insulation so we can see the actual window. Connect this. So hopefully this is my problem. Make sure this is off before you turn the gas on. So we're going to go ahead and turn the gas on here. Gas is on to the valve. Okay. So we're going to move it over to the pilot position. We have this on the pilot lighting. We're going to hold that. try to clear it out. Start hitting the igniter. This may take a minute. I see a spark in there, so we've hooked that up correct. Now this is a new valve, so remember, this may take a couple minutes. Trial and error. Okay, so we have a flame. We do have a flame. Oh, went out. Okay, so we have a flame. Let me see if you guys can.